So we had the newest Karate Kid Legends hit theaters. So I went to go check it out last week and I got some stuff to say about it. So upon hearing about this movie, I was definitely curious on what they were going to do. What kind of movie was this going to be? Then they announced that they're bringing back Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. And I was definitely curious, but also a little worried. Like I was worried on what exactly are they doing? They're tying both of these movies together, like their 2010 remake and the original Karate Kid series, tying them together somehow. And I just had a lot of questions. I was wondering, curious how they're going to all do this in a movie. And I would say I was probably not too excited for this movie. It was probably still one of my more anticipated movies of the year just to see what they could do with this movie. But it wasn't like I was overly excited for this movie because I just had questions about it and I still was wondering what they were going to do with it. And I went to this movie with not necessarily low expectations, but just hoping that it could actually turn out to be good. Like I was saying, one of the questions I had was how they're going to tie this whole universe together with the Jackie Chan character and Ralph Macchio's character, of course, and they actually do answer that within the movie. Basically, like in the beginning of the movie, they kind of tie some things together. Now, it goes without saying that this one definitely cannot hold a candle to the original Karate Kid movie. That one's a beloved movie. That's one of my favorite movies of all time, so definitely couldn't hold a candle to that original movie. With the way this movie plays out, except for certain things that happen within this movie, this is your basic, typical cookie-cutter formula for a Karate Kid movie. Kid moves to a new place, gets bullied, enters a tournament, trains, and ends up going against the bully in the tournament. But with the way this movie plays out, it feels like it kind of juggles a little bit too much. There is an added plot to this whole movie besides the whole formula that we get, and it just feels within this movie that kind of juggles too many plots going on. It doesn't have enough room to breathe or kind of fully extend upon these plots. And there's a lot of times in this movie where it feels like it just montages through plot lines. So we really don't get enough time with certain plot lines. We don't get enough time to breathe with those plot lines, or for them to breathe out anything. So that was definitely something about the movie. And another thing in this movie was that the rumored plotline that we did get like a year or so back ago about a rumored plotline that we got, that is actually true, what it turned out to be. I don't know if I should really say what the plotline is, but it turned out to be true. To be honest, some parts of this movie do feel like it's kind of sloppily put together, kind of rushed at times, especially when it comes to like some of the training and tournament build-up. Like there's not enough build-up in this movie for the whole tournament and the training. It feels like also feels like there's not enough tension going on between our main character and the so-called bad guy bully. They only have literally, it only felt like they had like 2 encounters in the whole movie, and it just feels like there's not enough tension between them to build that up to the tournament. I mean, we get Jackie Chan here. Ralph Macchio, I would say, is probably not in it too much. Probably like in the second half is when he actually kind of shows up, and he only shows up just to train the main character, to help train the main character with Jackie Chan. That's it. And with our new Karate Kid that we get in this movie, played by Ben Wang, he's a likable character in the movie, but you don't really feel like a lovable character, something like the likes of Ralph Macchio's character or anything like that. There was younger kids in my audience, and it seemed like this movie kind of gears more towards a newer generation. Like the kids in my audience were actually having fun and laughing at some parts and stuff like that. So I could definitely kind of see this being a new Karate Kid movie for like a newer generation, a younger generation more so, to where if it's kids age, they'll probably like it more. They can see karate. It's probably a newer Karate Kid movie for a newer, younger generation. But if you grew up with the original series of movies, or if you love the original Karate Kid movie, then of course you're going to find some flaws with this one. You're definitely not going to be, it's not going to be on par with the original one, of course, and you're probably going to find some things you don't like about this movie. Now, is this a bad movie? Overall, I'd say it's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie either. It's a fine watchable movie. I wouldn't say it's a waste of time or anything like that, but it's a fine watchable movie. I'll say that much.